No, they haven't changed. Yep, it's 5-jack. No club in the mug. Like, I think that's a pretty common thing. People just double checking their cards before folding. Yeah.
Sixes for Ido. No double check needed. Under the gun open here.
I mean, it's not a tell you can do very much with usually because it's like it's a tell on that they're about to fold after you've already acted. But yeah.
1-6 into the bin already, along with the 7-8 of diamonds, which, of course, is a pretty one. Lonis not going to be going anywhere. Ace-10 in the big. Is a customer. Let's see 3.
Ooh.
And by that I just meant cards, not tens. But as we can see, the development delightful for Lonis. Paired flop texture. Things that pocket pairs tend to like.
And yeah, Ido bets this. He'll have a bit of a range advantage. Sixes also likes knocking out some overcards, especially of the 7, 8, 9 variety that are in many hands that don't really have much interaction with this board, but are overcards to Sergio's hand. Now Lonis with a decision here of whether to slow play or check raise. Maybe with Ace-10 we check raise a bit more often, but the truth is that Lonis is a player at this point that I'm very used to making decisions not based on Silicon Overlord type. Oh my God. Whoa.
6 on the turn. This is a case card, by the way. Cooler for Lonis. Will there be a path to an escape? Obviously, the river will have a lot to do with that, but for the time being,
wow,
there's a lot of terrain filling his windscreen.
I mean, I was commenting that my feel for Lonis, having commentated on him and played with him some, is that he's not a person who makes those decisions based on like minor blocker effects. He does it more for like game flow and how he's feeling and what he thinks about the other player. So in terms of check raising or not on the flop, but now, I mean, he still has a very big hand. I mean, I know we can see that Jesse's beat, but one of the things he's going to be thinking is, okay, my opponent's betting big. Maybe he likes his hand. I'm beating every other 10 in the deck. Queen 10,
other than
Jack
King
10.
10.
Other than King 10, yes. So he never has 6-10. So it's other than a full house, my opponent needs to have King 10. Maybe he does or doesn't raise King 10 offsuit, by the way. And we have a 10 ourselves.
Right.
Kings, 6s.
The combos are limited.
Yeah. So he comes just with call, but the pot is big.
And note, by the way, Ido looking over, he knows how big that bet was and how big the call is in turn. 7 of spades, not a card that rates to be of any concern to Sergio, and for that matter, to Jesse either. Rast. SPR, north of 1, not by a ton. They play 8.7 effective. How greedy will Ido get?
I mean, probably pretty greedy. I mean, one of the things you're thinking at this point is, if my opponent has a 10, I want to win a lot. And he's probably not going to fold that. And, I mean, maybe a king folds to a big bet. King might fold to a medium-sized bet. 6s is a great hand to go greedy with because, like, kings blocks a lot more good hands. But you're not blocking a king. You're not blocking a 10. I mean, I think the standard-ish type thing here would just be to ask for a pot or, a lot, all in, that range.
I might be a bit in the weeds here, Rasty, but could Ido look to ask for something less than all 8.7 with the direct intention of emerging as a lone chip leader and keeping Lonis intact with a nub, because we know the setup from that point forward?
Yeah, and he does, and that's a snap call. I mean, Lonis is going to think he's beating value here because, like, he's beating 3 10s.
What he's not beating is 6s full as the snap does come in.
Yeah.
A little lick of the lips from the Spaniard.
Lonis was going to call anything, though. So he chose Lonis was going to call 7 million.
A little bit forgiving, I think, the sizing in terms of the 5, Rasty. A bit more greed, obviously, available. All 8.7 gets called there?
I don't think Lonis is folding ace 10.
So the answer would appear to be yes, as Jesse left with just 9 big blinds, courtesy of
He might
Spanish
not have,
Mercy.
He might not have snapped 8.7
Sure.
because he literally called in 1 second. If he had bet, put them all in, he might have thought for a bit longer. But he certainly calls 7 million, and like maybe there's some small percent chance he folds for all in, but it's like it's not big enough like that you're actually losing money on the bet, in my opinion. But I mean, then again, he had ace 10. I mean, that was a stone cooler.
Yeah.
Like,
come on. Let's not.
Like, actually, if you think about it in the hand ranking, 3 10s with an ace-king kicker is the next worst hand behind 6s full of 10s.
Right? Pip.
Yes. 6s full of 10s is the next best hand. It's a pip.
We removed 10-6, of course, just from the
Okay,
equation.
yeah. Remove 10-6, sorry. But
No, but I mean, these are relevant facts.
Yes.
10-6 is just not a part of the process for Ido.
So technically, there's 1 pip between 10-6, but that Ido can't have.
Right.
Yes. Correct.
Chua. Ace-9. Button open. Ido defending, feeling swaggy now. 62 bigs. Lone chip leader. Got himself backdoor clubs and bottom pair, more than we can say for Chua's ace-9. Adrian playing it as a check back. 2.3 in the middle, unimproved is the pre-flop razor. And Sergio, another quick check. Same story for Adrian, with less pace. 4-liner and spades have arrived in the form of a 5.
Yeah, sometimes in those spots, if I'm Jesse Lonis, listen, obviously it sucks and but you kind of sometimes you try to tell yourself things to keep yourself from tilting. You're like
FT and kind of ride that we joined Dan Wyman for this year, by the way. Not sure how much, if any of it, you caught, Rasty. But
no, I saw that he won.
Yeah.
You know something I just realized? 10-6 is not between 6s full. 10-6 is 10s full. It's better than 6s full. So yes, I was correct.
Between the ace-10.
Yes.
And, oh, yeah, you're right. Forgive me.
6s
yeah,
full
yeah.
is literally the next best hand.
I've nuked it.
And
you're
ace-10
absolutely
is,
right.
by the way, and I also just think, like, sometimes I try to be careful in here. You know what? Maybe it's like 1 in 1,000 times he just, like, God tells him he's no good and he folds. But he's
Divine
calling.
intervention.
He's just calling. You have ace-10, man. Like, let's not overthink this.
Yeah, and there's 5 million in particular. The speed that the call
So-
came in with is, the pace that I think many of us would have found ourselves making that call with. As we see, Ehsan Amiri, Jack 6 offsuit. He's chosen this spot, Rast, under the gun, about to take a pass through $1 million worth of blind and ante.
Wow.
Ido, a 3-bet from the small. With Jack 4 offsuit, help us understand.
I'm saying
So
there's a min raise.
he saw the under the gun player went all in,
Right?
and I think he's decided that it's only 2 blinds, and he had 1/6 of that out there.
Okay, so that is legal. Okay.
So apparently clarification being sought by the crew here with respect to what a legal 3-bet was. This is as clicky as it gets. As you can see, Amiri didn't have enough for the min raise with the 750. But the re-raise of 400,000 on top of that to exactly 1.15 is permissible. in this situation. So Adams ushered out, but go on then,
Jack
Rasty.
4 is a Jack 6,
He-
baby.
He's just trying to isolate that player and kick
Dominated.
Timothy Adams out of the pot in a spot where,
Ace king versus ace queen.
you know, Adams is
Yeah,
going
I'm
to play
supposed to
kind of
perform.
tight and
Perfect.
just
Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I did.
chop up the equity. I mean, like 750 is not even 2 big blinds,
There you go.
right?
Had 10
It's
for-
actually less than the big blind and the ante together by 50,000. So, you know, he's just
Triple up.
kind of
No.
gambling against that range that's not that tight, actually, as you can see, and trying to win the chips in the middle and take advantage of the fact that Timothy Adams is going to play tight because of ICM.
Yeah, so ushering Adams in the big out of there. Amiri delighted that he's up against something like
go.
Jack 4, more so on this particular board where he's flopped himself a 6 and leaves Jack 4 drawing
guys
dead
in trouble
on
now?
the turn. Threats of you guys in trouble now being issued by Asan. Living the dream. And oddly enough, being on the short stack, you know, when it's really lean, even the double here, 6 bigs, there's some pressure off of us in a way. The decisions are few.
Yeah, I mean,